Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a product review for you. So I haven't done one of these in quite a while. So I'm pretty excited to talk to you about this product. This is from Picket Fence Studio and it is the Paper Pouncer. Okay, so this is pretty new. I'm not sure if you've seen it yet out on the market. So I'm gonna go through what it's made of, what it looks like. You'll see the size, you'll be able to see it in action, how to clean it, all of those good things, if it's something you start to see and you're curious about. It's really hard sometimes to tell how big something is or what it's made of when you look at it through the screen. So that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. But I do have to put a disclaimer out for this video, and that is that I'm not in the business of telling anybody how to spend their money. Like, that is not what these reviews are about. This review is not to sell you this product, and it's not to tell you to run away from the product. It is to provide as objective as I can an opinion, to share the pros and cons, what I'm finding about it, and my overall thoughts on this particular product. And that's really what I try to do on all my review videos, because I don't know what works in your craft room. I don't know what you're looking for, what you need, or what could make the thing that's been bugging you about your craft space solve that problem. Like, that is between you and your space. I am just really trying to give you a close-up look at the different kinds of products I show you. So let's get into this and let me know what you think, and if you have any questions in the comments down below. All right, let's test these out. Okay, let's talk about these paper pouncers here. These are from Picket Fence Studios. I'm gonna go over my thoughts, what they look like close up, so you can have a good idea of the details behind the product. So I'm also gonna show you how they work on die cuts and stencils, and just basically an overall review. So they come in rainbow color, and they also have a set that you can get for neutrals. Okay, so black, brown, and gray. You have this case here that is color coordinated with the actual handle in there as well. Color coordination is cool. You don't have to, you don't have to kind of guess, but at the same time, once you put the ink on there, it's probably going to be stained, so you are going to have your color. So, that's just an added bonus, though, that they look pretty. I think overall these are really great aesthetically. So let's talk about some of the details of it. All right. So you have this case for it, which is cool. And what you can do is, as you're working on your project, you can kind of just place them in and out of your little case lid right here, which is nice, because I know as a crafter, I lay stuff down on my projects all the time, and that is really a pain in the butt. So that's cool. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, we're gonna go in a little bit closer here to take a look. So what's cool about this paper pouncer is the ergonomic shape of it. I do like that there is a handle that you can use with it. You might be wondering what this material is. Okay, what is this material? Because we have foam tools, we have ink blending brushes, and let me show you what I'm talking about there. So right here we would have a foam tool, okay, which is literally foam, okay, and then we also have this ink blending brush, right? This is the one with the bristles on it, okay. So it's not either of those. It's not foam from this similar. It's not foam that's similar to this, and it's not an ink blending brush. It is identical to a makeup sponge. Okay, so now you can kind of think of, those wedge makeup sponges that you've seen. It's exactly that material, all right? I use makeup sponges in my craft space quite a bit, but usually for non-reusable purposes, such as putting glue on them and then adding glitter to my projects. I've never really used makeup sponges for putting ink onto my products or my projects, so that's new for me. But I wanted to make sure I told you what that material was, because I think that's a really key component for how you would use it. Now, if you look on Picket Fence's website, they do, there's a couple videos I've seen so far that do not recommend rubbing in circular motion, which that's going to be just a habit we have to break, because when we get our ink blending brushes, we do this to blend in the color. Well, for this is not what you're going to do with it. You could very well pop this off or split it, ruin it, you know, break it, whatever. So what you're going to do is you're going to pounce the ink into whatever you're trying to color. Okay, so I don't know what kind of coverage we're going to get. I'm going to have to try that out in just a minute. So that is a little bit about the nomenclature for this. So again, you can have your little tray to sit it in while you're working. You can put them away completely off to the side. I do really like the aesthetics of them. I think it's really pretty for a craft room to have them up to use. But okay, let's get into seeing how these actually function. All right, so I have my scrapbook.com mat out here. This has a little bit of a tack to it. So when you're using small die cuts or thin cuts, something like this would work really well. If you have some of the, another option would be, let's say you have some of this low tack tape here, you can cut off a large piece. You can fold it back on itself here and then lay that down flat. And that would give you that low tack surface that you're looking for. You can also do that with, I have painter's tape, and then I have this yellow tape that's called the Greatest Craft Tape or something like that, which it really is good. But you can take that strip and fold it on itself and then place that down as well. So you don't need necessarily a low tack mat. You can just come up with other ways to do that. All right, because I'm filming, I'm actually going to do what I suggested before, and that is to take some of this painter's tape and do that, because it's really hard to see if you're watching a tutorial and there is a glare like that. So I'm going to fix that here. Okay, so we have that laying down. Let's restart. All right, perfect, not going anywhere. So I'm going to do the red, I'm going to do the yellow, and I'm going to do the blue. Okay, so I'm going to load up my ink here. I'm going to see how well it loads. Okay, I'm tempted. Did you see me just swirl? I just swirled. All right, and then we're going to pounce and see what we get. Okay, it's going, the application is going on pretty well. I like, it's pretty true to the color. I do like that I can get a little bit of gradient color in there. So I'm going to go about that far. Okay, switch to yellow. And I'm looking for that overlap, but I'm going to start in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to work my way towards the red. So I'm looking for the overlap, and I'm going to go down a little to this side because I am going to cover that and overlap with blue to get green. All right, so we're overlapping. Is it picking up? It's not really picking up the red too much. That's good. It's sticking with the yellow. So we'll put that to the side and we'll go to blue. I'm going to start on the outside and work my way in so I can get that green look. All right, how does it feel? I don't think that this is any less work than ink blending as far as like I'm feeling it in my shoulder and my bicep. But I think that it is less on your wrist. So there's not as much of this motion happening, which is nice. All right, so if you're curious about what's the difference between those two, that's what I'm noticing. The ink coverage is great. I do think the ink coverage is good. It's going down very well. I'm going to cross over a little bit more just to kind of get that green. All right, now I noticed that I'm seeing a little bit of lines, so I'm just going to go back, pounce back, and we'll see. Did it pick up? Oh, it didn't pick up much of that blue, so that's good. Okay, so coverage is great. I think the coverage looks really good. So I'm going to pull this off and let you have sort of a close-up look. So there's our close-up, and I think the coverage is really, really good. So if you're doing small die cuts, this is going to work pretty well. And it works pretty quickly too. So let's throw another one on there. And this time, let's go with straight purple. So purple here. So you can see I have to pounce it a few times. And like I said, remember when I said like you want something sticky underneath to hold it down? I think that does help quite a bit. Now I have ink underneath this and it's picking that up. So that wasn't very smart on my part. So I'm going to pick this up and remove this. Okay, let's try this again. That's why I'm not getting a true purple color. Now I'm getting a true purple color. You can see the difference there. All right, so I'll finish that off. So if you're gonna do this, just make, like I said, this one's small and I didn't feel like it was moving around too much. I feel like I can just put one finger, but the tape, the tackiness underneath does help. Okay, so we're gonna put this down. I don't need to have anything holding it, we're fine. So I'm just gonna go straight to my pink. This color is pink, Kitsch Flamingo. So I've loaded it up really well, and you can see it does add ink very, very quickly, very nicely. So that definitely, I can't make that up. It's adding it really nicely. All right, so then what I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna go back in with my purple with a stencil over it, and just for fun, to kind of add a little bit of extra something on that. I'm gonna put that right back. I'm gonna have my really fun stencil here. It has this really cool background. And I could put some low tack tape underneath my butterfly. I think that's probably the wise thing to do, because if I start pouncing and it starts shifting, it's going to mess up my stencil piece there. So let's get just a small piece. If you're wondering why the yellow tape that I first used was so much thicker, that's because that's low tack painter's tape. So that's why it's so much thicker than this tape right here. Oh, they both work the same. Okay, so I'm going to add this. I'm not going to worry about typing down my stencil though, because I can hold that. There's plenty of space for my hands to hold that. I'm just going to take out my purple and I'm going to start pouncing and get to work with this cool pattern here. And it's just adding something else. So I'm showing you this because, you know, you can use these paper pouncers with stencils too. That's one of the other great things that you could do with them. So I'm just going to pounce through the stencil. And now we're going to have a pink purple type of pattern here for this butterfly. I took the butterfly die cut into something kind of cool, right? Kind of abstracty looking. So there we go. Okay, let's see how we clean them. So the recommendation was a lightly damp cloth with a little bit of water, so that's what I'm going to try. They said if you submerge them underwater, you're likely going to see some expanding with the foam, and so we don't want to do that. So I'm going to just kind of spray this right here and just, I guess, wipe it off that way, right? So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tap it on. This one came off a lot more. Then I'm going to tap it off on paper and see how much coverage, how much ink is left over when you do that. I guess the reason this is important is because if I have two different shades of red or pinks or purples, like you want true color. You don't want this constant contamination over and over, you know, so that is important. It's important that you're able to clean off your brushes in some capacity. I know with ink blending brushes, I can take those to the sink, add some soap and water, clean them up, let them dry, and they're like brand new. So, you know, that's definitely something you got to consider when you're, should I get these? Is this something I need to have? So just keep that in mind. Okay. And then I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and actually, let's just use the back of this one. Let's see how this fares. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, so pink, that's pretty clean. That's pretty clean too. I'm getting the faintest, a little bit of the yellow. I'm getting a faint yellow piece. You know, I try to be as thorough as I can on these reviews. Very light blue, hardly any purple. I know you can't see that on screen, so I'm just telling you. I'd say the yellow I probably didn't clean enough, but generally speaking, yeah, they can clean up pretty well. So that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so now we have the material. We know how to use them. We know the best way to use them. We know not to swivel, especially in intricate stencils. If you start doing that circular motion, you're going to tear this up. Yeah, so all right, so that's pretty much what we know. All right, so let's talk overall opinions that I have about this product. So really, I'll start off with the pros list. So in the pros list, I really like that they are color-coded. I like that they're one for each, and that we're not cross-contaminating, you know, with lots of coloring. I do like that. I would say that the pro of this product that beats out really I would say the main pro for this is the aesthetics of it. So I think it is going to be really pretty in my craft room. I think it's going to look nice. But there are some cons. So the cons to this is it takes up space. You know, when you have something as big as this plastic thing, you know, it does take up space and you have to find that space. So that is one thing that I know if we have small craft spaces and we don't really have a lot of area to put stuff, that can be kind of cumbersome. So there's that. I also think because of the product material that you can find suitable alternatives if you cannot afford this particular product. If you're like, I love what this thing does, it would be so much easier to pounce instead of blend, there absolutely are options for you to look around out there. You can look for similar makeup sponges that you're just using that have the rounded edges. Like, those are things that you can definitely look for. So I think that could be a con on the con list too, is the price, because the price could be a little high for some folks. But do I like the product overall? Yeah, I think it's good. I think it does what it promises to do. And I think that's a really important piece, right? So it definitely adds a good amount of ink. It blends pretty well when you're talking about smaller surfaces. I would not recommend this product if you're trying to cover up a whole background in solid ink. I think that would be really difficult to do and really time consuming. But you know, the company does suggest that you mix with your other tools. So you use the blending brushes with this. So I don't know, if this is something that you want, that's going to be up to you. I'm just hoping that this product review video was helpful in at least giving you the close-up so you can kind of see, is this something that I actually do want or need in my space? So all right, with all that being said, I will link things below, so if you wanted to take a closer look at them, you can check it out. If you have any additional thoughts or comments or alternatives that you want to share with the community, you can put it down in the comment section. I always welcome that. I think some of the greatest information I've ever found has come from you all in the comment section. So you can do that below the video. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you down in the comments below and in the next video. Bye-bye.